Reverend Anthony walked into the church. He came to the church for the first time. He was just so sweet. He said, "I'm so blessed to be here. I just love the energy here." It's very sweet, and he's been just coming every Sunday ever since that he could. And if he wasn't gonna miss one, he'd let me know, "Reverend Deborah, I'm not gonna be around next week. I'm so sorry." He's just so sweet. There are wonderful energies of love around him, and I just feel so blessed that he found our little church, and that you all found our little church. Thank you all so much for sharing your Labor Day Sunday with us. And there are people here who have been here for so long, working with the loving energies of the angels and guardians of the church here. And I want to thank you. And please have on your hearts, Harry, who usually sits over here, has had a spill and his leg's healing, so let's keep sending him prayers. Okay. But this morning, we're just so excited for Reverend Anthony's debut speaking engagement. Reverend Anthony was born and raised in Akron, Ohio, where he spent 46 years of his life. At the age of 3, he was communicating with loved ones who had transitioned to the spirit world. His work with transmediumship began there and continues to this day. At age 11, Anthony began his development privately with Christ and his guiding influences. By the age of 15, Anthony was working psychic fairs and doing readings. His work continued throughout his life, and in 2010 completed a 4-year program in spiritualist ministry and was ordained at the First Spiritualist Church in Kent, Ohio. After ordination, he began conducting healing and mediumship circles. In 2011, Reverend Anthony was asked by his guides to relocate to San Diego to fulfill his private ministry with mediumship, healing services, and teaching, which he continues to serve today as a self-employed spiritualist minister. Reverend Anthony has now dedicated his life to being in loving service to Christ and all of his team of guiding influences. Reverend Anthony, when not working, spends much of his time in prayer, in meditation, and deep contemplation with his guides. Reverend Anthony offers mediumship readings with art in tarot and oracle faith, energy healing, and tuning fork services. And one of Reverend Anthony's greatest passions is teaching mediumship development and reading modality and healing services. Let's welcome warmly, please, Reverend Anthony Chapman.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to thank all of you for being here today. This archangel my talk today is about the angels, the archangels, and the angel kingdom. And Tobias is the archangel here who channeled this talk. When I speak, I don't speak from a human perspective, I speak from spirit. So I got with Tobias. He came before me when Reverend Deborah and Reverend Rosie asked me to speak. Immediately, he was the one who stepped forward to me and asked me if he could take the talk. And I said, well, of course, absolutely, because there's another guy that some of you here know who normally takes my talks, but Master Alexander stepped aside and gave the floor to Tobias. As a child, in the Catholic Church, I had a great Catholic experience, by the way. High above the altar was 4 of these identical pictures. But this one was on the very side, the very one side, and they were supposed to be identical, but boy, this one just was different. And his eyes just pierced me every time I would look at him. When I was 10 years old, he spoke to me from the sanctuary and said, in his very cheerful, childlike, loving voice, "Hi, Anthony. I'm Tobias. God asked me to speak to you today." I went into my first trance state in that moment. His image zoomed in so close to me. He came to life, literally came to life before my eyes. His feathered wings, I had noticed that, angels have wings, and never realized that they were really feathers. And so his wings began movement, and I could see, literally I could see the wings, the feathers flowing. I was amazed and thought I was seeing things, and he caught me in that moment and said, no, it is real. I am here. I realized later that how I could see that was through my inner vision. That my inner vision would be that clear someday. And I said to him when he went to pull back, I said, "Please let me see you like this again." He assured me that I would. He said God had asked him to be a watchman and to care for me. He foretold my gifts in that moment of spirit, and that I would need lots of help on my journey. He shared how he would help me in the future. Fast forwarding now, many years passed by. I, the child, became a young adult, altar server as an adult at Mass. The St. Cathedral was being completely renovated. This church was 125 years old at this time, and it was falling apart. And the church had raised money to repaint the church and restore it completely, including all the art. So they hired an artist who drew composite pictures of all the art in the entire church so that he could repaint it and restore it exactly the way that it was. At the end of the project, I didn't know how he did the art. It was never explained to us, but the priest approached me and said, "Anthony, I'm giving some people some of the composite drawings that was done from the church. This one spoke to me," he said. And he looked at me like, don't tell anybody that this spoke to me. I'm not supposed to talk about this. With gratitude and humility and love, I actually, at that point, was most likely what most people consider slain in the spirit. I collapsed. He caught me and brought me back up. To this day, I invoke Tobias. He asked me to receive this talk about the angels and the art and the angel kingdom. Tobias welcomes everyone here to hear his words. He says, there is a place high above the earth where all angels reside. He says and quotes the angel kingdom. When any mortal calls upon us, we come from this higher dimension to earth. We assist in any need a human has at any time. We are God's helpers. Our duties and responsibilities are many. All that is required of any human is to ask. You must only ask. Why do you need to ask for help? He says, good question. Let me share with everyone why. And even Reverend Deborah in her classes has talked about asking. It's so important. The reason for asking, Spirit does not interfere with our human free will. They cannot force themselves on us. But if we ask, if we step forward to ask, they respond. He says, when you ask, it gives us full permission to step in to your vibration, to help you in any way needed or necessary. We then respond fully to each of your needs. And by this request, this is giving us permission by your free will to assist. This is why when humans ask, we can help even more with any need because you have requested our presence and assistance. With this free will permission, there are no boundaries or limitations to what we can do for you at any time. There are many forms of angelic beings. There's angels, archangels, seraphim, cherubim, and many more. Many countless multitudes of angelic beings, always available to any human who desires us present. He asked me to say this prayer that I say ahead of time has, to me, is not, the author is unknown. Common prayer says, angels of God, my guardian dears, to whom your love commits me here, be ever this day and night, be at my side, to light, to guard, to rule, to guide, to protect and defend me, now, always, and forever. There's very power in these words, Tobias says. This is profound, he says. By these words immediately, we come forward to assist. He says, in the world today, do you need help? Any help at all? Do you need assistance? Is life hard? Is life perplexing at times? Complicated? We can help. We are here, happy, willing, and welcoming to assist you, anyone who calls upon us. We can even help people find parking spots. He says, yes, the parking angel. Pull in a parking lot and say, parking angel, parking angel, parking angel. And do you know that I've done this? And do you know that it works most of the time? I love it. We can help with any need you have, no matter what it is. He asks us to be specific. He says, don't be shy. Ask for whatever it is that you need. Guidance, assistance. We are way showers. We will show you the way if you even just request this. Another prayer again, I don't have the author. He asks me to share, O holy angels from on high, won't you please be my guides in all that I do and in all that I say? Be with me on my way. Let me love and let me praise and be most worthy on these days to receive your love from above. Let me walk with you this day among the clouds that pave the way. To God alone do all belong. I offer up my holy deeds in union with yours, for through the holy angels of God that I may find, that I may be like unto thine. Amen. I didn't know he was going to do this until I received a talk, and I was a little surprised, but he said, you're standing in a church and you're going to be talking. He says, let's use the Bible a moment. And I was like, really? In Psalm 91, verses 11, 12, and 13 says, For to his angels he has given command about you, that they will guard you in all of your ways. Upon their hands they shall bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone. Ye shall tread upon the asp and the viper. Ye shall trample down the lion and the dragon. Tobias moves to speak next about he calls him one of the greatest archangels that God ever created, the Archangel Michael. Tobias speaks about divine protection. He speaks of Michael's great duties and responsibilities. To divine protection, it is tremendously important, he shares, to understand the need of protection. He says, unfortunately, I must speak of this, but I am an angel of truth, an angel of God's words, and I must speak. The Archangel Michael's purpose is to protect those who stand spoken in God's truth. In that statement, I stopped several times writing this talk, and I said, that's sure is what you said. He said, it is. People who stand, anyone who stands in God's truth, all of us here today, Michael protects them. From the highest place, Tobias says, in this truth, always and forever, he protects those who stand and speak in the highest truth. Tobias suggests to all mediums to discern all guiding influences. He says, unfortunately, there are those out there that are not of God's highest light. I ask you to speak about the suggestion of discernment. Again, in one of Deborah's classes, Tobias reminds me of her speaking of discernment and the importance of it, asking them if they are of the highest divine white light of God. If they're not, Tobias says, simply call Michael and dismiss them. another prayer that the Archangel Michael, I know this prayer partially is in text, but again, unknown author, and Michael channeled this prayer to me this way. Michael, come with your sword of light and suit of armor, and with your countless legions of angels, to light, to guard, to rule, to guide, to protect and defend me, us, now, always, and forever. When I was 11 years old, I began my journey with Christ and my guides. My very first 3 guides that spoke to me and stepped forward to speak to me, besides Tobias, were 3 beings that were angelic and winged. They introduced themselves as such and showed me a path. That's the first thing I ever saw in my life, was a path, a road. One of the angels spoke and said, "This is your road, this is your path. God has made it and set it for you. We will help you follow it always. If you just ask for our help, we will respond." They shared how they would always be with me the remainder of this life, to guide me down this path and road. In the highest humility and gratitude, I thank them. To this day, all 3 of them, and others, of course, are very omnipresent and show me the way. I wake up every morning, and the first thing I say, as I open my eyes and then I shut them again, I ask these angels to guide and lead my day, and to show me the way that God desires me to be in loving service that day in His highest and perfect way possible. Again, Tobias asks me to share this prayer that is an unknown author. Dear angels, in His goodness, God gave you to me to guide, protect, enlighten me, and to bring me back to the right way if and when I go astray. Encourage me when I am disheartened. Instruct me if and when ever I err in my judgment. Help me to become more Christ-like each day, and to someday be soulfully returned to God's highest heavenly kingdom. Tobias moves to share how all angelic beings rejoice when any human calls on them. It makes them really, really happy. So if you ever call on an angel, always know that you're making them really happy. Tobias explains, for this is their purpose. This is why God created them, to assist us when we call upon them. This next statement that I am going to make from Tobias is something that I didn't just hear from him now. Years and years ago, probably 26 years, 27 years ago, I was shown this, and it was so profound that I couldn't, when I saw this, I couldn't feel my body, and I'm going to explain this next statement because it's so powerful. When we call upon them, they first return the love of that call back to God, which created them. So when he first said this to me 20 years ago, I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Glad you asked, I'll show you." And I saw him, and he said, when any human calls upon us, we turn and we return that love back to God first, which created us, and then. We blame they turn and give all the love, honor, praise, worship, and thanksgiving to the Creator, Father, Mother, God. The Creator then gives the angel the blessing because of that love they just gave the highest energy. And then energetically, they use that energy to come forward to assist us in our needs. So that's, in a way, in the simplest way to explain it, in a way, how they work. And how when an angel, if any spirit helps us, that's how they've helped us. Because they have received, they have first given the praise to God for our call. And their existence, in that thanksgiving, they're giving praise to God for their existence. And then the opportunity to help us. When COVID began, the isolation, the uncertainty that arose in most of all of us, I would imagine. Tobias said to me personally, "Let humans take this unfortunate circumstance and situation as a call to come closer to us. By this difficulty," he said, "encourage all humans you can to find more of a connection to us, requesting more of our assistance and care." He says, "Unfortunately, for all will need it, and will greatly appreciate it the moment that they realize they have received it." I personally took his advice. I said, I want to try it on myself before I can give it to anybody else. So I did. I took his advice. And by this, I was changed forever. And it gave me the encouragement to help others to be encouraged to stay as positive as they could, because it was so hard. He says it certainly brought introspection, going within, did it not? He said. When you went within, what did you find? Did you go to your hearts? If you went to your hearts, you found God and you found us. If you went to your souls and higher selves, you found us and God. By this, I found an ever closer relationship with all of them, and encourage this to anyone that I can who asks for the information. On June 29th of this year, with a transmediumship student from Ohio, another reverend, we had a connection, a full trance connection. We entered the angel kingdom, the 7th dimension for this student. Tobias greeted us and opens and shares. More humans need to connect with the angels and the angelic realms. This was the connection that inspired this talk. It was one of the most powerful trance sessions with a student that I have ever encountered in my life. Tobias asked all of us to talk more with the angels. Just talk. He said, people think they need a script in the book. Put the books away. Put the script away. Just talk to us. What do you need? What do you desire? Talk to us about how you love God and would like to love God and know God more. It is our duties and responsibilities to accept and to assist any human to know God more when they ask. He asks us to talk about the angel kingdom, and I've heard, I have some people here from Reverend Millie Landis's church, and she always, she taught all of her students to make a statement when they stood up to give messages. She asked them to give glory to God in the angel kingdom. Very powerful. Here again, the divine inspiration for this talk. He shares that more humans need to ask for help from the angels. He brings again the request that we need to ask. He shares he cannot share this enough. He promises this is the last time. He assures us that when we ask, that the angels can respond in a higher way and help us all. The Archangel Sandalphon then stepped forward, and I had never in my life remember communicating with him, and he was larger than life. I've never seen an angel that big. Stepped in and talked to us that day and said, tell all people you can to be grounded and balanced. Grounding and balance is so important, and we can help. He shared the angels, any angel can help with this, and it is so important to bring more grounding and balance to our lives. By this means brings a closer connection with each of us. The Archangel Ariel stepped forward then to share how each angel has their functions. I've never interacted with Ariel until this time, and I thought Tobias was childlike, but this angel was so childlike and so gentle. And he said that they have all angels have their functions, duties, and responsibilities. He shares of many multitudes of angels available to humans. Ariel calls again, more humans need to be connected to them. Ariel closes sharing how there are many different forms of angelic beings. He says there's angels of peace, angels of forgiveness, angels for those who suffer with anxiety, depression, or any other difficulty. Angels for relief of pain. He suggests that all humans ask for the angels to assist with all of these attributes of life, and he shares how it is so powerful. On behalf of the multitudes of angels, Tobias thanks each of you for being present here today to receive this talk. Connect with your angels today, he says. They're waiting for you to call on them. And I close this talk by saying, glory to God in the angel kingdom. Thank you for listening today.
Thank you very much, Reverend Anthony. That was beautiful. I'm telling you, it is so busy up here. For the energy. The angels that came in this morning as we were getting ready. It's just beautiful. And right now, they're so happy. Thank you. You know, we love pictures of angels at the church. I brought this one in there. And, Raphael, there's just so much beauty. They want to make our world beautiful. And so now it's time for, announcements. secretary.